If this had opened with a 45-minute episode and it didn't manage to chart, well, maybe it's in the 11th position and it's only a 45-minute episode. That means it still could have had 6 million people or something like that watching it, and it might not have charted because it only had 45 minutes to its name. I wouldn't be so hard on it, but the fact of the matter is, it had 2.5 hours of watch time. All it needed, it didn't need 5 million or 4 million or 6 million. It needed 2 watching the show, turning it on and watching all 3 episodes. A movie, a long movie. And you're telling me that couldn't happen. Renegade Online. Kanan Barnes for 10. My dad, who is a Star Wars fan but doesn't know that much about what Disney has been up to, he was very turned off by the stuff in Andor. It's a very bad look for the future of Disney and Star Wars. If, again, having it in the show, especially where she runs out and she actually says the word when she runs out. He tried to me, is what she says, was what the character says in the show. And they make a big point about it. And then you spend the next 3 days after the show comes out talking about how this scene was so important and how this and that, and like your entire focus of all of your interviews for your showrunner, your writers, the actress that did the character, all the focus for Andor the day after this was about that moment and how important it was and how groundbreaking it was. That is the problem. If they'd had that scene in there and they'd had the line in there and then they did not follow it up the next day with a press tour about it, about that one scene, this is the most important thing in the whole 2.5-hour premiere, it probably just would have gone away. But they didn't. They planned the press tour based on that. The interviews with THR and whatever the other ones were out there. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Right. Well, would we be safe to put up what Gary has posted on X? Can we put it up on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, folks. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. It's so funny. Honestly, I saw this during the show and I thought, don't laugh out loud. Don't laugh out loud. Because it was a really inappropriate time when you and Tom were having a serious conversation.
You put that up Friday or yesterday, I think. I don't remember.
Well, that would just been payback to me, man.
So funny.
It's hilarious. Yeah. John Maynard says, I was on my LDS mission when the movie came out, and this was the first time I got to watch Revenge of the Sith in theater. I laughed when I saw Jonas J. Campbell.
He always has the high ground.
I know what you're going for there. Archer Merchant for 10, joining late, but do you think Renegade might do, or Revenge? Do you think Revenge might outdo Snow White? As a per theater average, yes. When you really consider that Snow White had 2,000 more theaters and it had all the advantages of all the IMAXs, the PLFs, and everything else at that point when it came out, absolutely. I mean, this is embarrassing for Snow White. Is it going to beat Snow White dollar for dollar this week? And it doesn't look like it. I thought it might have a chance when it posted an $11.5 million Friday. I was like, dude, might do it. All it had to do was beat 42 million. Considering the crowd I saw at the theater last night that was in that movie. I know people were there for Accountant, people were there for Sinners, but that movie was packed. All the showings that I saw were packed. I'll put it this way. If they had given Revenge of the Sith an exclusive PLF screen for the whole weekend, like not sharing it, not rotating it in and out with only 2 or 3 screenings a day, if it had gotten 4 or 5, if it had had both PLFs like Snow White did exclusively for a whole opening weekend, it absolutely would have torched it. I have no doubt in my mind. Bad News Badger for 50, Danish Krona. So what you're telling me is that with a runtime of 150 minutes, it couldn't even accumulate 2 million viewers, talking about Andor. That's right. Basically a slightly long movie, and it couldn't get 2 million people to sit there and watch it. That's Andor right now. Now, by the time the numbers for Andor come out next week for Friday, and I'll circle back to this just to kind of make this point. With what you have here, are more viewers going to accumulate since this chart closed on the 24th, which was Thursday at midnight, the end of Thursday, right? So Friday, April 25th, Saturday, the 26th, today, the 27th, Monday, the 28th, Tuesday, the 29th, Wednesday, the 30th, and Thursday, the 31st. That's the next measurement period or Illuminate. Andor had better chart. Absolutely should have. You've got 2.5 hours that dropped, and this was out for the first. This was release plus 2. Tuesday night, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, didn't chart with 2.5 hours. If this had opened with a 45-minute episode and it didn't manage to chart, well, maybe it's in the 11th position and it's only a 45-minute episode. Okay. That means it still could have had 6 million people or something like that watching it, and it might not have charted because it only had 45 minutes to its name. Okay. I wouldn't be so hard on it. But the fact of the matter is, it had 2.5 hours of watch time. All it needed, it didn't need 5 million or 4 million or 6 million. It needed 2. Actually, I did the math. It really only needed 1.88 million, I think as it was. 1.8 million. It needed just under 1.9 million people watching the show, turning it on and watching all 3 episodes. A movie, a long movie. And you're telling me that couldn't happen.
And you know what's really bad, Valiant?
Mm-hmm.
We know what it didn't do. We don't know how much it didn't do it by. So we don't actually know where the bottom is.
We're going to find out. That's the beauty of it. That's what I was about to say. We're going to know because there's almost a 0% chance, assuming that this next week with Andor is going to have another 2 to 2.5 hours because it's 3 episodes per week. It's going to have another 2 to 2.5 hours. That means that by the 4th day of Andor's release, what this next chart is going to measure is it's going to catch the remaining 4 days of the first week or 3 days of the first week, whatever, of the first drop. And it's going to pick up Tuesday night, premiere night, when you would think people should maybe binge if they didn't watch it. They watch the first week, go back and watch those 3 episodes or finish them. It'll pick up the drop for the second week. You'll have almost 5 hours in the till of Andor, maybe more, by the time we get the next chart. There's no reason with that much runtime. By the time you get to the second week, maybe some new people turn to you telling me that with 5 hours and we're still within the first 10 days of the show coming out, if that show can't show up on this chart in the top 10, burn it all to the ground. Burn it, because that's abysmal. Now, here's the thing. It's probably there's a 99% chance it's going to make it. I will be shocked if it doesn't because of the amount of time that it's got. And I don't think there's anything else major out there coming out this week and into next week before the next 3 episodes drop, which is just 2 days from now. Not Monday night, but Tuesday night. So 48 hours from now, the next 3 episodes drop. There's nothing else coming out, I think, that's going to grossly interfere with that. It should land in the middle of this chart. It should be in the 4, 5, 6 range. And when that happens, previous estimated minutes watched from the last measurement period that currently we can't see would show up. So let's say Andor makes it into even the 10th position, which would be humiliating. With that many episodes, that much watch time, and it pulls in 400 to 500 million minutes watched, which would be atrocious, considering you've now got 6 episodes out. It'll tell us previous estimated minutes watched. It might be 50 million. It might be 277 million, but we know it's less than 278.9. We just don't know how much less it is, but when it charts, I think as it's going to, when it charts next week, we will know definitively.
That'll be very interesting to see. And let me tell you, I don't know where Star Wars can go. I mean, what is this? This is 2 straight shows that look like they're, because if this didn't chart with the debut, unless the finale charts, why would any of the others chart? So this is 2 straight shows that may not chart at all. At all.
Skeleton Crew, and now this.
Yeah.
Here's the Skeleton Crew, the episodes were 30 minutes something. I think they dropped 2 episodes. And then if Andor can't chart any show, for the love of God, it's got Star Wars in front of it. It's got Marvel in front of it. It's a 2 hour. It was 2 hours or 2.5 hours long. It's like 154 minutes. And of course, that's with 3 sets of credits rolling that most people would skip past 2 of them. So about 2.5 hours of show, and it can't chart. Bosch Legacy, again, anybody talking about Bosch Legacy online? Is Parrot Analytics talking about Bosch Legacy? No, but I guarantee you that in 2 weeks or less than that, Parrot Analytics is going to tell us that just like The Acolyte and Agatha All Along, that Andor is the most popular show on television right now. Anybody want to bet against me on that? I guarantee you Parrot Analytics is going to tell us how huge Andor is, because there's a lot of Disney Star Wars bots tweeting about it and hashtagging it. But it can't beat Bosch Legacy, a show that virtually nobody has heard of. It's not a bad show. It's just on Amazon Prime. It just doesn't have a big audience. But that had 2 episodes drop that week, but they weren't 2.5 hours worth. And I mean, granted, maybe people were binging up for the rest of the season, but you look at the rest of the shows on this list. Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV. For God's sake, nobody has Apple TV by comparison. They don't even talk about Apple TV when we covered the thing last week when they talked about all the big streamers and where they are profitability-wise and how healthy they are. Apple TV isn't even mentioned, and it's from the biggest company on earth, Apple. Come on. I mean, it's just bad. There's no way around this. It's just bad. Black Mirror, that was 6 episodes, but that dropped an entire week before this chart. So this is just leftovers, okay? 1923, 2 weeks worth of leftovers of people still watching, catching up on a show that ended 2 weeks ago. They're still catching up. I don't even know what Ransom Canyon is, but I'm assuming that was a binge drop because it's got 2.6 billion minutes. But the point is that this is a Star Wars show with a massive budget, $300 to $400 million for season 2, and it doesn't exist on the chart. Not in the top 10. You suck, Disney. You absolutely suck.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.